Welcome to Linda's Corner. My name is Linda Bjork, and today we're going to be talking about how to develop rock star confidence. I'm delighted to welcome special guest Lucy Liu. Lucy is a coach, speaker, author, and the host of the podcast, The Lucy Liu Show. You can reach Lucy at her website, lucyliucoaching.com, and I'll include a link in the description. Welcome, Lucy. I'm so glad that you could join with me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Linda. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I am too. And I checked out your website and I read some of the testimonials and they were glowing. Things like transformational and she is the best coach I've ever worked with and this is the best decision I've ever made. And I thought, wow, she knows what she's doing, and I am so excited to be learning from you today. So is it okay if we start with your transformation story?
Oh, wow. Do we have like 5 hours, right?
Obviously.
No, when we're in the transformation, we don't know it because we're in this dark tunnel, right? We don't see the end of the tunnel. We are in this dark place, and it's hard. We've all been there. Because we're human, it's normal to go through difficult times, but we have to know that there is absolutely light at the end of the tunnel, and that's what I learned. So I personally transformed my own life from feeling overstressed, over everything, unhappy, unhealthy. I say I'm an overachiever now. I'm an ex-nobody. I am an ex-perfectionist because that was one point in my life that I ditched. And now I'm living my life full of true joy, fulfillment, and mindfulness. And that's what I love to do now, is to help other women to make that kind of life-changing transformations. And that's my passion. And of course, it took many bold moves in my life to create this kind of life. And I believe that everything starts with confidence. So that's what I do now. Strategic goal setting with my clients and mindset transformations and the confidence to rise up and up level our businesses and life.
I love that. So let's talk about confidence. So I am coming to you and I'm ready to be transformed and make the best decision I've ever made. And you're going to teach me how to be confident. So how do we start?
I think we start by making a decision. Most importantly, confidence is not something that someone is born with, because people feel like other people's got it, I don't. And it's so not true. Confidence is a choice. So by working with me to boost your confidence, that is a choice, right? It doesn't have to be me, although I know I'm confident in helping you, but it could be someone else. And often we're trying to think, who should I coach with? I'm picking a coach. No, you're not really investing in your coach. You are literally, but on the inner side, what you're really doing is investing in yourself and starting to believe that this is what you decide to do. Because the moment you truly decide to step up and show up and level up, your confidence is already soaring through the door, right? And then we break down and remove those mindset blocks and false beliefs about yourself. And that makes you feel less confident. It's not that you're not confident. It's just that you have these false limiting beliefs blocking your way. You see these things as boulders that are blocking your way, whereas these are just rocks, right? You can see them as boulders, or you can see them as the exact pebbles that are helping you pave your way ahead. And that decision is also yours.
Wow.
And secondly, confidence is a muscle. It's a muscle that needs work out. We go to the gym to work out certain parts of our muscles, right? But you also need to work on your own personal development muscles, such as resiliency, confidence. These are all muscles within us as well that we need to work on. And by working on them, they grow and they continue to grow, and voila.
That is amazing. So what you are doing here is you're making this attainable for anyone. Because I think a lot of us, we do come with this mindset, this belief that, some people have it and some people don't. And I'm one who doesn't, right? And so there's nothing I can do about it. And now you're suggesting, actually, we need to make a choice. We need to want it and we need to make a choice about it. And then we need to do something about it and work those muscles and grow. And that means that anyone who's listening today, whether they feel like they're confident and they're doing great, or they feel like this is an area in their life where they're struggling, there's hope that they can have this awesome outcome as well. And I think that that is so beautiful because it gives people hope. I know before, because you mentioned in our transformation when we're in that dark place and we don't see things clearly. I know that I didn't. I felt like, there are people who just have the talents, have the skills, because you can see people with talents. And then there are people who don't. And I was attending the theater and I was reading the playlist, and it was like the star of this show. It says, oh, and they were the star in this show, and in the star in this show, and the star in this show, and the star in this show. And it's like, and in my mind, I thought, oh, yep, there's some more evidence. The people who have it, and the people who are in the chorus line kind of thing, they're always going to be in the chorus line. It's not something that you could build up into. Does that make sense where my mind was going? And you're saying, no, actually, this is not something you have to be born with, the haves and the have-nots. It is attainable for anybody.
Yes, absolutely. I'm nodding my head all the way.
And that's why you're the best coach ever, right?
Growing up so close to Hollywood, I actually signed with a casting agency when I was in middle school to high school, and I went to numerous auditions. And guess what? I never got a single part. Every time I went to an audition, the casting director would run out of their office with so much excitement. And once they see me, they make this such an apparent disappointing face. Like, oh, not the Lucy Liu. Right? So no one was ever excited to see me. If you're listening, right, connect with me and tell me, have you ever been in a situation where, you were less than what people were expecting, or where you feel like you're not as good compared to someone else, right? So that's kind of my background where I grew up. And it was this crush of confidence every single time that actually helped me build my confidence, right? By continuing on my journey to learning to embrace my name. And yeah, it's a celebrity name, and you just simply do not see another Julia Roberts out there that's that famous, right? It's just not possible. You do not see another Angelina Jolie. It's just not possible. So I always thought I was nobody, and I was just going to be nobody for the rest of my life. And even if you Google Lucy Liu life coach, other coaches by this name comes up. It's such a common name. So I had so much problem with my name. But yet, once I learned to embrace my name, once I'm able to transform that mindset, I became so deeply in love with my name. It's actually my maiden name, and I kept it even after I got married to remind me that that's the version of me that I choose to be, the confident version.
Wow, isn't that beautiful? That would be a very frustrating situation when you go to an audition and they didn't give you a chance because they had already created this image in their mind of who was going to be walking in that door. And when that person and you were not the same person, they were disappointed. And you didn't even get a chance to shine. So how amazing that you're able to look back and say that this became, instead of a boulder like you talked about, that it became this stepping stone, this paving stone toward your confidence and toward your success. So was there kind of an aha moment or anything in there that said, actually, I like me. And I think this Lucy Liu right here is exactly the one that I want to be.
I get asked this question all the time. What's your big aha moment? right? What was your epiphany? And this actually stopped me from doing what I love to do because I felt like I never had this epiphany. Am I great enough? Because I don't have this major transformational trauma induced or, moment in my life. And when I actually thought about it, no, for me, it's these small aha moments in my life that added up to where I am now because I'm constantly, very intentionally rebooting myself to give myself those aha moments. And so instead of waiting for something else to happen before you decide to take action, and I think that's so important. For some people, yes, there might be a catastrophic event happening in your life or this turning point in life for you that just catapults you into great heights. That's great. But if you don't have that, don't worry either, right? Give yourself those aha moments, and small aha moments adds up to great heights as well.
Oh, I love that. And I love this clarification about that there isn't a huge aha moment or maybe a huge transformational change. And yet we talked at the beginning about a choice. And for me and my transformation story, I cannot say that there was a one big thing, because change, I have learned, and healing and growth, it's not like flipping on a light switch where it's just this big thing all at once. It's like a sunrise where the change is gradual, moment by moment. Like I might not even notice a change from 1 minute to the next. And yet it comes and it is beautiful and it is transformational. However, I feel like the decision is kind of that aha moment where maybe you're recognizing for the first time that something is possible that you didn't think was possible. Like when we talked earlier about, that anyone can do this, that it's not the haves and the have-nots, that it's something that we can develop and muscles that we can grow. And so I agree with you completely that it's a kind of a combination of those little ahas and that little decision, that little tweaking, and then small, consistent action steps. Like someone doesn't become a bodybuilder in 1 minute, but it does take a decision that this is something that I want, and so it's something that I'm going to work toward. So just kind of that combination of making a choice and then working on that gradually. So that's neat. I think that's beautiful. And I think that also helps make it relatable to most people who feel like they're just living day to day. And there isn't this big transformational whatever thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Baby steps all the way. And if you're not there yet, just look out for your limiting beliefs, right? We've all got them, beliefs we hold on to be true. For one, I talked about my name. For you, it could be your name's too hard to spell, too hard to pronounce, too common, too difficult. There's always a reason for you to be not happy about something if you choose to, right? And we all have limited beliefs. And as a coach myself, what I do is I'm always constantly trying to list out my limiting beliefs and shattering them because most of them are self-imposed. For one, I talked about that my name as one of my major limiting beliefs, right? And I would like to talk about another one is that even though I graduated from a well-known university, I always felt like my English isn't good enough. This thought always come through because I wasn't born in America. Even though I grew up in America, I feel like my English still isn't good enough. So actually, that's one of the reasons why I decided to launch my podcast and just calling it The Lucy Liu Show, because I am unique and I am Lucy Liu. I'm somebody. And even if I help the life of one listener, I have done my contribution to a better world. And that's for me. And it's also for anyone who listens in hope to inspire them to look out for their own limiting beliefs to shatter because it's so fun.
That's nice. So part of it is becoming self-aware and recognizing that we have limiting beliefs. So what are some of the common limiting beliefs that your clients come to you with?
Oh, you fill in the blank, right? I'm not ready to blank, right? I don't have enough blank. Anything in that form is probably a limiting belief, right? Because we have so many resources out there in the world. Probably the highest, we're in information overload, right? But are you resourceful? Are you willing to work for it? And what are your priorities and values? I think that's some questions to consider. Is it a priority to you? Right? For example, people would say, I don't have the time. Well, look, if you're single, you don't have the time. No, that's not an excuse because I've got clients running their business with 10 kids. Right? So it's always what you put your priority to. And I always do this with my clients on their first sessions. What would their dream life look like? And, contrary to what you may think, I ask them to put down their sleeping time and 3 meals time and their workout time first before they consider anything else on their calendars.
Wow. So you're prioritizing just some basic needs of eating and sleeping. And what does that do for people when they schedule that and put it on their calendar, their to-do list, so to speak?
For one, it's always the basics because we think it's so basic, we don't need to schedule them. Yet we don't get to them sometimes. Or we have difficult drawing boundaries. Whereas if you know your priorities and values and non-negotiables, it's so easy to make decision. I really am proud of myself for being a really fast decision maker. And that's because I set rules for everything. How I interact with people on social media, I have my money rules, I have rules on my client working time. When you set these boundaries, life just becomes so much easier. You don't have to think. You have the answers within you. And I always say that your well of wisdom is already within you. It just might be covered by some bushes and you have to believe it that it's already there.
Isn't that interesting that you're a quick decision maker and then as you're describing the why, it's because you have already made a lot of those decisions. So when the situation comes up, you don't have to think about it. You already know what the answer is.
Yes, your innate intuitive answers. And only when those answers are aligned with your decisions, that's how you live a happy life because you're in alignment.
Wow, that your answers are in alignment with your decisions. How many people say yes to being asked to do something when they already feel overwhelmed and their gut is saying, don't do this, I don't want to do this, and yet they'll do it. Or an invitation comes, hey, do you want to try this? And their gut is, yeah, but then they feel fearful. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. That's something new. And so being in alignment with what we actually do and what is inside here, that's a great piece of advice.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Do you have any other, anything that you want to make sure that we cover before we wrap up today?
Sure. Well, I always like to share my favorite quote. It's something that has helped me in my life because, let's say it first. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift, which is why we call it the present. I think so many of our problems are because we're worried about the future or we are still stuck in the past. And that's what life coaching is. We are focusing on the present and the future in a good way so that you're laser focused on the right things. A lot of times we're low on self-esteem and not feeling confident because of something that happened in the past. The past is already done, so there's no point worrying about it. Of course, if you have deep drama in some work that needs to do, I, of course, do seek out a therapist to get over that, right? And that's when you focus on the present and the future. And in the future is that upgraded version of you that you should be so excited about, that your future self will thank you today for.
Oh, I love that. And I love the idea of being excited and joyful about the future. Because oftentimes people, when they think about the future, it's filled with worrying rather than joy and anticipation. So how beautiful that you're able to look at that. And to find that joy and anticipation and looking forward to the future comes from what we are doing in the present, in this gift, this moment. That is fantastic.
And it's a moment. If you're living life from moment to moment, day to day, then you're going to have a beautiful life and believe it down to your course. Like for me, I believe life is good, right? When you have that mentality, no matter what comes around, you'll be able to look out for new opportunities. Your mind will be open to accepting beautiful things in your life and attract those beautiful things and opportunities into your life. So if you're tuning in, you're beautiful, you're remarkable, and more blessings are coming your way.
Isn't that beautiful? And I love that you're bringing this up. I get to talk to amazing, wonderful people around the world as you do on your podcast. And I feel hope and joy and this idea that life is good and that there is positivity in the future. And yet I speak to some other people, just, neighbors and people around who have a feeling of fear, a feeling of anxiety about the current situations in the world and about what their future is going to be. And I found that not everyone feels the same way, but there is power in our personal beliefs and in our focus. And isn't it beautiful and wonderful that regardless of the circumstances in the world and in our lives, it is possible, like you mentioned before, to practice those muscles and exercise them of positivity and of hope. And then you mentioned that that is attracted into your life. And so the people who have that positivity and hope also get the results of things work better for them. So thank you for all of the wonderful wisdom that you've shared. And I'm so grateful that you had those little baby aha moments and decided that Lucy Liu is an amazing, wonderful person with all of these gifts to share, because now I am blessed and lifted from speaking with you, as well as all the people who are listening today.
Thank you, Linda. Vice versa. I am excited from our conversation.
Oh, you are awesome. In closing, I'd like to share a quote by Cicero. He said, "If you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won before you have started." Today, I invite you to increase the confidence you have in yourself. See you next time on Linda's Corner. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode of Linda's Corner, please share and subscribe to help us reach new listeners. I also invite you to check out my nonprofit, Hope for Healing, at the website hopeforhealingfoundation.org for free ebooks, free audiobooks, and other free resources to help increase happiness, build confidence and self-esteem, strengthen relationships, manage stress, and calm feelings of depression and anxiety. I also invite you to grab a copy of one of my books, like Crushed, A Journey Through Depression, or Amazon bestseller, You Got This, an action plan to calm fear, anxiety, worry, and stress. See you next time on Linda's Corner.